I'm trying to give me a bigger house. The most high like oxygen, he's something that I can't live without. The wicked ain't trying to live it out. They ain't really got it figured out. This that real repent music.
Let's give it celebrate.
I stay humble, then I rise, it's like I levitate. This that my Mashiach coming, they not gonna get away. This that rebuilt temple flow, it's time to renovate.
Do you really think that you can seek and hide your sin from him?
He is not like man, please don't mistake, he's not a synonym. Demons active, I retaliate, yeah, I get rid of them. They some devils like Tasmanians, so I be spinning them. Loonies with these tunes and I won't chill, I don't take Ritalin. Ruach HaKodesh all in my body, now I'm vigilant. It make me amazing, truth be told, it's like adrenaline. You try this, you crazy, judgment day ain't no forgiving him. Hey, Azar, our path we straight, laser, good versus evil, face off. We got a hit, 8 dog, we at the end, stay smart. Sinning is easy, cakewalk, but what come after, way off. I say repent and take off, shalom.
Some things you just can't let them take it from me. No matter how far they hand is reaching, no matter how persuasive they may sound or seem, it's just some things you can't let them take it. Look, they tryna take everything from us. They want our hair, eyes, melanin, and culture. They want our necks tied to the tree for the vultures. They want our women, children, body for a sculpture. Look, hey, they want our minds, they want our souls, they want us trapped. They wanna experiment on us like we some rats. They want us deaf, they want us blind, they want us dumb. They want us begging on our knees for some crumbs. They know we kings, they know we priests, they know we royalty. They got them GMO Jews, call it forgery. They know that we the strongest on the land, what you saying? Powered by the sun, they know they can't, but we can. We the original man, let's get back to the original plan and get to original band. See, we know the original God, let's beat the original odds. Cause in this world, America is a facade. I can't let them take it from me, no. Passion for this truth, you can see it in my eyes. I can't let them take it from me, no. Got that ruach with me, I'm gonna keep it by my side. I can't let them take it from me, no. See these demons lurking, so I'm about ready to slide. I can't let them take it from me, no. Passion for this truth, you can see it in my eyes. Free proof. I can't let them take it. They wanna taint our DNA and pump us up with vaccines. They want us docile and ignorant to their schemes. But I can see clear like a sniper with a scope. Ruach got me lifted, so I gotta stay afloat. They don't want us up, they want us down with no hope. But we got necks, and as little do they know. About to do a big flex on the wicked with this righteousness. They gon' feel all the pain, even on the Vicodin. I'm so sick of it, let's get rid of it. They plaguing the earth, and it's on us. Sitting here, watching them destroy us and discuss. Listening to them mock us and diss us, that's distrust. Distrust, can't take no more, can't take no more. Can take it if you want to, but I can't take no more. Man, I can't take no more. No, I can't take no more. Hey, you can take it if you want, but I can't take no more. I can't let them take it from me, no. Passion for this truth, you can see it in my eyes. I can't let them take it from me, no. Got that ruach with me, I'm gonna keep it by my side. I can't let them take it from me, no. See these demons lurking, so I'm about ready to slide. I can't let them take it from me, no. Passion for this truth, you can see it in my eyes. I can't let them take it from me, no. I can't let them take it from me, no. I can't let them take it from me, no. I can't let them take it, no. I can't let them take it.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Look. I'm tired of seeing my peers cry. Another family traumatized, buying bags, extermination. We need preparation on how to flee from Satan. Running away, pitting our gunners away so the children can come out and play. My people will say, Black Lives Matter, but when we need change, we turning away. We need the Bible, we need disciples. We don't worship idols, I love my people. I'm not your enemy, we not your rivals. Righteous living can save a generation from pain and help their healing. So for fulfilling to win is your mother see life and choose to accept her mission. But everybody ain't gon' change. Most will choose to stay the same. Cause sinning is fun, we gotta live life. I mean, you only get one. Y'all are the motto, so we finish the battle. Mixing lean with Moscato, clubbing every night to hide out of sorrow. Nobody serious, this water so shallow. Vain glory, vain thoughts, vain looks, vain talks. I don't get it. I hire first, you shy it with us. When we do right, I have before repentance. My spirit on hack, I be touching the ceiling. Get it? Yeah. You can have for a piece if you pin down your sins and repent. You with it?
Most people die not having a chance to repent. And some people live just to die in a sin. And a few people listen, change in a sin.
I told a lie and made you cry. For all the times was drunk and high, had so much pride. You kept your love for me alive despite those sides. The sides that were broken, you cleaned me up inside. You made a way out of no way. Saw the change way before me. I'll forever praise your name. I'm indebted to you, Father, to you, Father, to you, indebted to you, Father, you, Father. And I hope to serve you in heaven's gates on that day. Many times I ran away, I didn't keep you around. I just turned away from your face, I was blind. Forgive me, I was so weak, focused on so many foolish things. Now that I see, never. 'Cause I never let you go. 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 'Cause I never let
All right. We're going to go ahead and open up for questions and answers this Sabbath day today. And go ahead, bro, when you're ready. We'll go ahead and open up.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
thy will be done.
in earth
In earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory, forever.
forever.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. All right. First and foremost, praise the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everybody that's physically here in attendance with us on this question and answer Sabbath, and everyone that's online. And on that note, we'll go ahead and jump it off with any questions in-house. Any questions in-house? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll wait for Brother Dave. You say there was one on YouTube? While I guess we can. Yeah, there is one on Facebook. You know what? Let me go ahead and start this one off. We'll let you get settled in, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this one on, I think this Facebook. Peace, Jay. Jay Israel, peace. Sister Ramona, peace. And Sister Ramona has a question. I have a question. A brother from IOG says that we are all priests and should do Leviticus 23:14 after the Feast of Unleavened Bread. I said women aren't priests. We are not to teach man what is the truth. Okay, so let's go to where she referenced to, Leviticus 23, see what we got there. I mean, because all throughout the Bible, I mean, there were certain cases when Israel had lost all their leaders, and during the judges' time, there was a sister called, her name's up for debate, right? Deborah or Deborah, but Deborah, yes, thank you. And she is a known leader amongst Israel according to the Bible, but outside of her special situation at that time, all the leaders and teachers of Israel were men. Leviticus 23, and the verse in question was 14. Okay, Leviticus 23, and pick it up at verse 14, bro, and read there.
And ye should eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It should be in statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings.
Okay, and again, her question was, I have a question. A brother from IOG says that we are all priests and should do Leviticus 23:14. So I assume she's talking about bringing the offering. Because in this verse it's just saying, and ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears until the selfsame day that he have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation. Let's get some more context on what we're reading. So pick it up. Let's go back up, bro. Let's go back up to verse 7 and see exactly what we're reading for the people that's not familiar with what this feast is they're talking about. Go ahead.
In the first day, you should have a holy convocation. In the first day, you should have a holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein. But you should offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. My mic.
It's still off.
The first day you should have a holy convocation.
Is it powered up?
In the first day you should have a holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. You should do no servile work therein. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you come into the land which I give unto you, you shall reap the harvest thereof. Then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of the harvest unto your priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you on the morrow after the Sabbath. The priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day when you wave the sheaf in he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And the meat offering thereof should be 2/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of an hin. And you shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be in statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Okay, brothers and sisters, now we see that there's a lot that go on to this, and I guess I should have just started. I'm going to go ahead and just read 6 because 7 didn't give us, because this is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, brothers and sisters, is what we're reading about. And huh? Passover. Oh, it's all, oh, okay. Okay. All right, sorry about that, brother. Okay. So, I stand corrected. This is the Feast of Pentecost. And we see that there's a lot involved in this where we read no servile work. Of course, we don't do that we don't do no work on just the regular Sabbath day. And with this being a high day, it says, ye shall do no servile work. In 7, I'm at 7. And then it has offerings made. Brothers and sisters, where we dwell at now, we don't even do the offerings mentioned in this Bible because we're incapable of doing that in the land that we dwell in now. But this was for the Israel at this time to keep, even though they are still in the land here. But we are far removed from doing everything we can to keep it 100% properly. So we do what we can. So let me move down to the question said. Let me reread the question because I don't want to go off track. Should do Leviticus 23:14. The Feast of Unleavened Bread. I said women aren't priests. We are not to teach man what is the truth. I don't see where we're teaching in here at, though. Oh, hold on, I got to go back. Right. Because technically, Sister Ramona, we don't know who the Levites of today are, period. Because we've been scattered into captivity and our history hasn't followed us. You know, we are just waking up to even knowing that we are Israel, let alone what tribe of Israel we are from. Now, some of us, you know, we dig deeper into, you know, history and whatnot to give us a better understanding of what tribe we have come from. But the most part of it is that we don't know what tribe we are from. And but I want to go. Let me see. Hold on, because she's talking about teaching. Let's go to Judges and read about Deborah, because the question is leading to say, priests. I said women aren't priests. We are not to teach man what is the truth. Okay, so it seems like the question is basically women teaching men is what she's getting to here. I have a question. A brother from IOG says that we are all priests. And should do Leviticus 23:14. Right. Right. Well, then she goes on to say that we should do 23 and 14 Leviticus. Right. Okay. So just go ahead and right. That's what I'm kind of mixed up on. That's speaking of parched corn, not to eat none of that until the offering's been given. No, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go. Let me.
Please.
Go to Hosea chapter 4. Because we understand that when you read Leviticus 23 and you start at 9, you go down to, I think it's 21. It's talking about the Feast of Pentecost. But like we say all the time, we in captivity and we doing the best we can. So when you read all of that and all those offerings and everything, we don't even know who the Levites are. So go to Hosea. Let me get there. Hosea chapter 4.
Mm-hmm. You said Hosea 4?
Yeah. And let me see. Where is it? I'm looking for where it say, you should be no priest to me. Is that Hosea 4?
Not sure.
Give me a second. Let me find it. Just give me a quick second. Yeah, I'm right 6, there. Right? Hosea 4 and verse 6. Mm-hmm. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. Because Israel was sent into captivity, so all like doing stuff to the T. Like even when you think about we were supposed to be going to Jerusalem, like all of that is all screwed up now at this point. Because we in captivity and we don't even know who the Levites are to be doing all that. Hosea chapter 4 and pick it up at verse 6.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me.
See, the priest, we don't even know who the priest is now. Like, we got kicked out of the land. We lost everything. We lost all our heritage and everything. Go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
So for us to like do all of that to a T, like down to the jot and the tittle, we can't even. It's not even possible for right now at this point. Go to Jeremiah chapter 17, because that's where we were. And the Lord brought us out, and He gave us the covenant and everything, and gave us all them laws. That was a part of our heritage as the children of Israel. Jeremiah chapter 17, and pick it up at verse 1. We'll just read down into it.
The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and with the point of a diamond, it is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars.
So our transgressions and the fact that we were not obedient got us put in the situation. Go ahead.
Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil in thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders.
Go ahead.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
So all our customs, all of it's gone. We can try the best we can where we are, because we were supposed to keep the feast throughout all our generations. Go ahead.
That I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
Go back to Leviticus 23. Back this way? All right. Go back to Leviticus 23. Go back to Leviticus 23. Let's pick it up at verse 9. Yeah, man, this thing is rough. How do I lock it in?
It's locked. It's just wobbly.
Leviticus chapter 23. Mike. Leviticus 23.
It's just going in and out.
Pick it up at verse 9.
Leviticus 23 and verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
This whole chapter, Leviticus 23, it's talking about all the feast days. Go ahead.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest.
See, and it ain't at this point. So that's what when you pick up Leviticus 23, when you're in Leviticus 23 and you pick it up at verse 9, because then we're gonna go down into 14, and we're gonna go even further than that. But when you pick that up, like all of this, he was talking to this is what was supposed to happen. You were supposed to bring this sheaf unto the priest, but at this point, ain't no priest. We don't know we know that we understand through the scriptures that the priest was the priests that handled all that were the Levites.
Right.
And we don't have them anymore. We don't
Know who they
they're
are.
here, but we don't know who they are because we've been scattered. I stand corrected. We've been scattered, so we don't know who they are. Go ahead.
And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you on the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
And we just read in Hosea chapter 12 where he said, my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge. And at this point, you ain't going to be no priest to me.
Right.
We lost all that. And we read in Jeremiah 17 where we was discontinued from our heritage. Go ahead.
12. And ye shall offer that day when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering.
So a part of that, you was going to offer a he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord. And that represents Jesus. Go ahead.
And the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord for a sweet savor, and the drink offering thereof shall be of wine.
So you had all kind of things that went with this feast of Pentecost. Go ahead.
The fourth part of an hen.
Go ahead.
And ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations.
Go ahead.
In all your dwellings.
Go ahead.
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
So if you complete 7 Sabbaths, 7 times 7 is 49. Go ahead.
Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days.
And that's what Pentecost means. It means 50. Go ahead.
And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenths deal. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baking with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock, and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord.
We ain't doing all this at this point. Go ahead.
Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats.
Ain't nobody sacrificing no goats. Go ahead.
For a sin offering, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest.
And we still talking about this feast of Pentecost because it's running down all the feast days.
Right.
Just like if we keep going, we'll run into all the feasts that we just kept. We just kept atonement. We just kept trumpets. We just kept tabernacles. Go ahead.
And ye
20,
shall,
go ahead.
21, right?
Yep.
And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be in holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile
on
work.
that feast, we supposed to come to, and we still doing that. But all this sacrificing and stuff, we don't have any goats to sacrifice at this point. Go ahead.
Therein it shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when ye reap,
That's good. That's good. So yeah, so pretty much. What was the question again?
go back
Say
to
that
it.
again. Again, the question was, okay, somebody said, we are all priests and should do Leviticus 23:4. We should definitely keep these feast days after the feast, but we can't keep them like that. Like we don't have goats and stuff to offer and so on and so forth.
Right.
After the feast of unleavened bread, I said women aren't priests. We are. So it sounds like, it's kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like
after the feast of
dueled up.
unleavened bread, I said women aren't priests. We are not the teacher, man. What is the truth? Yeah, it's kind of. But yeah, as far as that the context of it, we definitely we not in our land anymore. We can't do all that sacrificing and all that type of stuff.
Right. There's one more place I wanted to just to verify the thing she did mention about a priesthood about Israel. Let's go to 1 Peter, and then we'll leave this alone because it seems kind of it don't seem too direct. 1 Peter. Let me get to it. 1 Peter. Yeah. Because Israel had, yes, we did have a job, and we still have a job to this day. That's why we got the awakening of Israel happening now, because by us dropping the ball, that's why the world don't know about Jesus, the plan of salvation, period. So, yes, we definitely have a job to teach the world how to do this right.
1 Peter 2:9.
Yeah, thank you, brother. 1 Peter 2 and verse 9.
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Keep reading.
Which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which have not attained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
Keep reading.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, which abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul.
Keep going.
Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify God in the day of visitation. See,
brothers and sisters, that's our whole job at this point, is to bring people to God. You know, we sit here Sabbath in, Sabbath out, reading the word, being better individuals, not just because. Okay, we're not being better individuals just because. It's because this is our duty to be better individuals, righteous individuals, so that the world can learn about God and his plan of salvation. That's what Israel's job was to do. And yes, it says here that we would, but 9 again, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. That was the job of Israel. But as Brother Willie said, we had the Levitical priesthood that took charge of the Lord's duties with the tabernacle and the temple at the time when we was, posting in land and in the desert. When the Lord was setting up his kingdom. Because it said here that in 10, which in time past were not a people. Before we ended up in the wilderness after we left Egypt, we weren't a people yet. I mean, we were Hebrews, but we didn't have the plan that God was to give the world, and that's when he got us straight in the wilderness to do that. Right. We didn't have all them laws that set up. That was given to us once we left Egypt, and the Lord sent us out, to get the laws in the wilderness. So that's all I have on that. And I hope that answers your question, sis. I know it seemed kind of everywhere, but that's the best we can do on that one. Okay. So we'll go ahead and go in-house. Is there any in-house questions right now? Okay, go ahead, bro. Matthew 2. You said Matthew 2, 1 through 4? 10. Matthew 10. 2 through 4. Matthew 10, 2 through 4. The other one. the one behind you.
Oh, my bad.
Mike's a little touchy. You got to tune him in.
Testing.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to prove this. Nothing deep, basic. Matthew 10, 2 through 4. They're mentioning the disciples, as we all know. And then Acts, maybe. You're right. That's why I got the microphone. So once again, I'm trying to prove, and I need help proving it. Matthew 10, 2 through 4, they mention the disciples' names, and then in Luke chapter 6, 13 through 16.
Okay, Luke 6, 13
so,
through
yeah,
16.
It's a variation, which we all know in the names. I'm just trying to prove who is who scripturally. It's a variation in the names. Like in Matthew 10, they don't mention James, Judas, forgive me.
Okay.
They mention Judas. And in the other scriptures, they match up. Luke matches up with Acts chapter, I want to say 1, probably. It's a slight variation. If you read them, you'll see it.
Okay, so let's start there.
How do I prove that that individual is?
Okay, how do we prove the individual that's missing?
I mean, technically, he's not missing, but how do I prove that that's who he is?
Okay, let's read it. Let's read it first.
Prove who is.
They don't mention Judas. Okay. Remember, it's 2 Judas.
So you want me to? It's 2 Judas.
It's Judas Iscariot.
Right.
And it's Judas, I think, the brother of John or James or something like that. But if we read the scriptures, it'll say it.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to prove it. In Matthew, they don't mention that Judas brother, that other Judas.
Got you. Okay, so let's read it. Let's get the context. We're gonna start at Matthew, right? Matthew 10.
Appreciate it.
And we are going to read from, we'll just pick it up at verse 1 through 4, just for the sake of reading it and get the whole picture. Go ahead, bro. Start
And when
there.
he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
Okay, go ahead.
Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him.
Okay, so right here that gives all 12 of them. But you're saying it didn't say the two Judases, it only said Judas Iscariot. Okay. The son of Alpha, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Okay. So we're going to hold our finger there. And we're going to go to Luke 6, right? Luke 6. Matthew, Mark, Luke. Luke 6 and verse 13. Okay. Luke 6, verse 13 through 16. Go ahead and read there, bro.
And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, who also he named the apostles.
Okay.
Simon, whom he also named Peter.
Okay, we read that in Matthew.
And Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip, and Bartholomew.
Okay, all those was in Matthew. Go ahead.
Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes.
See, that was even a different name that we didn't read in Matthew. Simon called Zelotes. We didn't see Zelotes, but that was interchangeable with Simon.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Judas, the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot, which also was the traitor.
Okay. So right here is where we picking up two Judases, right? But it says it was the brother of James. So if we go back, because we had Simon and Andrew, they were brothers. Then we had James and John. So back to Matthew 10. Did it just give us James and John brothers, or did it give us another? We're at verse 10 and pick it up at 2 one more time. What I'm trying to do now is figure out, because he had a brother. Judas had a brother, right? He said his brother was James. Let me go back and read it before we go. 6. Dang, I lost my place, y'all. Help me out. 6 and, okay, 16.
6 and 13, yeah, 16.
Right, because this is the Judas we're looking for. We're looking for the other Judas besides Judas Iscariot that we didn't see in Matthew. So in Luke 6 and 16, it says, and Judas, the brother of James. So he had a brother, James. And, yeah, but that James that was mentioned in 10 was John's brother. I was just seeing if there was another James that was mentioned, to see if it was, because it gave us a couple brothers in Matthew 10. So let's go back to Matthew 10, and let's pick it up again at 2, bro. Matthew 10 and verse 2, go ahead.
Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew his brother. Okay,
so Simon, which we know is Peter, that was his other name that he had. His brother was Peter. That was two of the disciples. Go ahead.
James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother.
Okay, so these two were brothers, James and John. They were brothers, and they were also mentioned in Luke. So we got those matched up. Go ahead.
Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican. James, the son of Alphaeus.
Okay, so here's another James here. James, the son of Alphaeus, and go ahead.
And Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Simon, the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him.
Okay, so we getting a little bit. We scratching at a little progress because this is another James that we see, but it's not telling us that Judas is his brother. But it's going on to say Alphaeus, which we didn't read in Luke. We didn't see Alphaeus, did we? Let's go back to Luke 6. Luke 6.
James, the son of Alphaeus.
James, the son of Alphaeus.
Yeah, that's the James, the son of Alphaeus. So yeah, he's just talking about one of the disciples' daddy.
Right.
They just tell you who his daddy was.
Who his daddy was.
Yeah.
And then James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas. So he's one of these three. He's either Alphaeus, Lebbaeus, or Thaddeus. So we need to do some more research. Because we got James.
We just trying to figure out
who the other Judas is. Yeah. Yeah, and see if he had another name that could possibly be one of him. But the reason I'm keying in on James is because in the Judas that we read of in Luke, it said his brother was James. But did it say that James was a disciple? All right, we're gonna have to. I don't want to get lost either, though. So I'm back at 6. No, that's a good question, though, brother, because you know a lot of people just get tripped up on just the smallest things, and then they'll run away with it, and lose all sorts of sense, common sense. So Luke 6, I'm back at Luke 6, y'all, and I'm reading 15, 6 and 15. I'm going to reread 15. Matthew and Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes. So it's almost like Simon, well, let me see. Matthew and Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes. And Judas, the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot. Oh, that's a good one.
Brother James, go to let's see. Jude could, I don't know, 'cause I'm looking at Jude. Check this out.
And your question is try to prove who that Judas is. The other Judas. We know Judas Iscariot. We're trying to figure out who the other Judas is. Okay, so which one wasn't mentioned? Matthew, Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon. Okay, Simon the Canaanite, we see him there. We see James, the son of Alphaeus, we see him there. And he had a surname, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus. So we don't see Lebbaeus. We don't see Lebbaeus in Luke. And he had another name, Thaddeus. So that's the only one we don't see is Lebbaeus. Everybody else is accounted for. Because even Simon the Canaanite, I'm back at Luke 6 and verse 16, or 15, I'm sorry, Luke 6 and 15, it says, Matthew and Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, those are all mentioned in Matthew, and Simon called Zelotes. He's mentioned in Matthew. but in Matthew it says Simon the Canaanite. Okay? And Judas, the brother of James and Judas Iscariot. So the only one that wasn't mentioned was Lebbaeus. And his other name was Thaddeus. But to prove if that was him is a different task. Because out of all the names we read in Matthew 10, verses 1 through 4, and then Luke 6, from 13 to 16, the only one that's not matching up is Judas. Judas we see in Luke 6 and 16, but in Matthew 10 and 3, we see this name Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Now, I'm not sure. Let me see.
It's another place where it shows Jesus' siblings.
I'm just trying to see if there's somewhere else in the Bible where it can, because just from reading it, that's the only name left out. So that's the only clue we got to go off of on searching if this Thaddeus is also the Judas in Luke. Yeah, that's what I wanted to go to, Acts 1. Let's move over to Acts 1 real quick. Does it say the name? Okay. Is this actually Pentecost when they went to?
Acts 1, that's verse.
Yeah, so it's verse 13. Okay, so we're going to move over to Acts 1. If you can, hold your spots in other places. If not, we can go back to it. So we're going over to Acts 1, and let's pick it up at verse 13. Acts 1 and verse 13. Go ahead.
And when they would come in, they went up into an upper room where abode Peter and James and John and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon Zelotes, and Judas the brother of James.
Okay, so here we go again where it says Judas the brother of James. Now we know that at this time Judas Iscariot had hung himself, right? So he's not mentioning this because he was replaced. Judas, the brother of James. Read 14.
These all continued with one accord in prayer and supplication with the women and Mary, the mother of Jesus, and with his brethren.
Okay, that's good. So we just see Judas, the brother of James. Mark 3. Okay, let's go to Mark 3 now. So Mark and Matthew lined up and Luke and Acts lined up. So Mark 3 and what'd you say, 14? 16.
And Simon, he surnamed Peter, and James, the son of Zebedee, and John, the brother of James. And he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder, and Andrew, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite. Okay, so there we see Thaddeus. We didn't see that other Judas. But keep reading, keep reading. And Judas Iscariot, which also betrayed him, and they went into an house. Okay, so lining this up, this is matching with Matthew, right? Because Matthew mentioned Thaddeus
and gave him a surname as well, but it didn't mention Judas here. That's the best I can do. I mean, that's the only one that wasn't mentioned. So the Judas, the other Judas that was mentioned, it has to be Thaddeus. Because it's not giving us 13 disciples. It's not giving us no eyeball number of disciples. It's just giving us different names. And the only different name that we can't seem to find is this second Judas name to match up. But we see even here Thaddeus twice. Yeah, that was his other name, Lebbaeus, and then Judas. Judas wasn't, the other Judas, not Judas Iscariot, the other Judas wasn't mentioned. But Thaddeus, he gave us twice. Let's go back to Matthew 10 again, just to reread it, because it might be confusing to the people that's online trying to follow us. So where was we at? Matthew 10 and verses 2. Let's reread that one more time.
Now the name of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus.
Okay, so that's Thaddeus right there. So that was Lebbaeus. That was his, Thaddeus was his surname.
Simon the Canaanite and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him.
So from the matching all the scriptures we read, we seen Thaddeus twice and we only seen Judas once. And then we see Lebbaeus, right? But Lebbaeus and Thaddeus, you know, they basically are the same person. So I would say that the other Judas is Thaddeus. That's what I would say. Yeah, because, I mean, these are the only names we ain't. It's only 12. Right, it's only 12. But to prove it just without a doubt, I mean, we just got the scriptures we got. Yeah, that's the only scriptures we got. Let me see, is there any other scriptures with the 12 disciples?
That's when they was replacing Judas in Acts, because he had hung himself. They replaced him with Matthias.
With Matthias, right. Yeah, the other, right. Yes, right. Judas Iscariot wasn't mentioned because he hung himself and was getting replaced. That Judah was mentioned in the Acts. The one I say is Thaddeus, and also is Lebbaeus. I mean, because that's all we got to go off of. I don't know of any other scriptures that would give us more of a concrete. Trying to look and see.
Jesus had a brother named Judas.
Was he a disciple though? He wasn't one of the 12 disciples. We read all of Mark 3, Luke 6, Matthew 10, yeah. He was on the right path. But I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying on and that's all I can go off of, brother. That's how I'm at. And I ain't good at math, but I know it's only 12, and they go over all the 12 names. It's just we only see Judas in one, and then we see Thaddeus lined up twice, and then we see his other name, which was Lebbaeus. Let me see. Lines up, but Yeah, so that's all I got on that, brother. If there's anything that anybody can add, they can mention it, but that's all I got on that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Did that semi got somewhere in it? Okay, all right. Praise God. Okay, we're going to move on. Any other in-house questions? No in-house? Okay, we'll go ahead and go to anything on Facebook.
We got one. I got one on YouTube.
Okay.
On YouTube, it says the Virtuous Reality Podcast. Oh, they say they can't hear it. Well, hopefully they can hear it now. QQQ, this is Endo on YouTube. I just wanted clarification on who Esau is. I've watched your videos and still learning. BHI movement told me that I'm Caucasian, so I'm of the devil, and I will be in slavery. I love Yah and serve. Okay, so it's a couple parts to this.
Yeah.
So they want to know who Esau is, first and foremost.
Okay. So let's go to Genesis. Let's go to the beginning so we get a clear picture of the beginning of Esau. Genesis 25. Genesis 25. Is it 19? Yep. That'll be good. Does it go to? Yeah. Okay. So we at Genesis 25. We're gonna start here and get our first introduction to this person called Esau. Genesis 25. We're gonna pick it up at verse 19. Go ahead.
And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Okay, so we see right here that she's having 2 babies in her stomach, right? It said children, plural, 22. And the children struggled together within her. So when Isaac entreated of Rebekah, and she's having these kids, she's actually having what we would call twins. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay, now this might go over a lot of non-Bible readers' heads, but we know God is awesome, and this is what he can do. So it says that 2 different nations is coming out of Rebekah's womb. 23, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. So these are 2 manner of people, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So whoever's coming out of this thing first is going to serve the other one that comes out. The older is going to serve the younger. That's what we read. Go ahead. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Twins, okay, the Bible explains itself. That's why we read it so thoroughly, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Okay, so right off top, we see Esau is what we would call the firstborn, right? So in that prophecy that was spoken of just the verse earlier, where the older is going to serve the younger, whoever's coming out behind Esau, Esau is going to serve. Go ahead. 26.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
Okay, so we even see that his brother Jacob, so we see that they're brothers. Although it's 2 manner of people, 2 nations of people, they still brothers. And he came out and held on to his heel. Go ahead, and his name was Jacob. Go ahead.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob.
Okay, that's good. let me go to, let me see what else. Because can you reread the question again?
The question is, I just want a clarification on who Esau is. I've watched your videos and still learning. The BHI movement told me that I am Caucasian, so I'm of the devil and I will be in slavery. I love Yah and serve. So they trying to see who Esau is. They just trying to find out who Esau is, how to identify him. He hiding.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay, so we got to go back to. Okay, so let's go back to Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Let's go back to. Yeah, thank you, brother. Genesis 10. Let's go back here. Okay, so we're going to go back to Genesis 10 because this is going to give us some indications of the nationalities of mankind. So Genesis 10, and let's pick it up at verse 1.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Okay, so here it is. These are the three men that's after the flood that populated everybody that's here today. This is after the flood. This is the verge of repopulating the whole earth. So whoever you are, you're living in this world today as a human being, you came from one of these three people. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Go ahead, 2.
The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim.
Now, you're going to have to go and do some more research on your own to see exactly what nations these are. But as we're going to keep reading, we're going to see that these are Gentile nations. Go ahead.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Okay, so all those names mentioned, and we encourage that you study to show yourself approved and do a little research on these names. But these are the Gentiles. So we know right here that Japheth was the progenitor of the Gentiles. Okay, we see that clearly here. Let's move on to 6. Go ahead.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Sheba, Havilah, and Sapta, Ramah, and Saptica. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
Okay, that's good. If you keep reading on, you'll see names like Mizraim. I know over the studies and being here in the truth that's Egypt and Egyptians. But we're going to skip down for the sake of just all the names that you can read on your own, and we're going to land at 19. Let's go to 19.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah and Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries and in their nations.
Okay, so these are the sons of Ham. Now, if you do any kind of like any other light research, if you Google right now, ancient land of Ham, you're going to see the continent of Africa just pop out and see all sorts of pictures, because that was what was called the land of Ham. And even when Israel was brought out of Egypt, even before that, when the Lord told Abraham where he was going to go, we was going to inherit the land of the Canaanites, which was from Ham, because we read their name in here, didn't we? Or did we not? Did we see Canaan in here? Yeah. Okay, so the Canaanites were Ham. So the Lord was going to take their land and give it to Israel. Okay, so these are the sons of Ham. And Ham being a black nation, because we know that Africa is African nations all through Africa. We know that. Now let's move on to the sons of Shem. Let's go to 21. Go ahead.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Salah, and Salah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almadad, and Sheleph, and Hazar-Maveth, and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abamiel, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, and their lands, after their nations.
Okay, now these are the ones from Shem. Now, I'm looking for, yeah. Okay, let's move over to Obadiah. And we're going to pick it up at verse. Let's pick it up at. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to Obadiah. It's only one book, so Obadiah. And we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Obadiah, because we got from what we just read in Genesis of the nations of the world under that was populated by Shem, Ham, or Japheth, right? So let's go into Obadiah, and we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
You know what? Hold on, bro. Let's just start at verse 1. We're going to start at verse 1 because Esau's land was known as Edom. And maybe some of the brothers help me out where we can clearly show you that Edom's land was inhabited by Esau. And we know Esau's brother Jacob. We read that. But let's start at verse 1. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Okay, so we see the mindset of Esau right here. It's telling us Edom, but Edom was the land of Esau, so we know this is referring to Esau. Matter of fact, this whole prophecy in Obadiah is concerning Esau. Yep, so we'll go ahead and just keep reading. Go ahead. verse 4.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though they set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
So it's saying that Esau, he's on his high places, but I like this comparison because it's, in 5 it's saying if thieves came to thee, and I think, even when thieves break into your house, they ain't got enough capacity to take everything. Even if they wipe your TV out, your stash, a little money you had, if you got any, they just ain't taking the floorboards, your walls, and just leaving you with nothing. They ain't taking everything. But somehow, we see that Esau is so lofty that he's taking everything from this other people that we're going to read about. But let's keep going. I just had to point that out because it was on my mind. Go ahead.
All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
See, now we see Esau. Now we made a connection that Edom and Esau is interchangeable. Edom was just the land in which Esau dwelt in. But go ahead.
And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Okay,
so he has a judgment coming because when we was on our way into captivity that the Lord had cursed us with, Esau was right there helping whoever came in feed us to them. He had a hand in it, a strong hand in it. For one, he was right close to our borders, so we shared border lines with them. So it was nothing for him to, get us all taken fully and then take our identity, which is what we're dealing with today. It was right next door, exactly. Go ahead. 11, right?
The day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them.
See, they was one of them. Because I want to read too where Esau and Jacob had the blessing that Isaac gave them. I want to read that too.
But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress.
Okay, that's good. That's good because we see Esau had a big hand in getting us all totally wiped out of the land. He could have had some compassion, but he chose not to. Okay, let's go there. Thank you, bro. Joshua. Let's go to Joshua. And we just go. Exactly. Like brother Willie just mentioned, we're going to see how convenient it was for, you say Joshua? Joshua 15. How convenient it was for Esau to just slide into the land once we found ourselves getting snatched up out of it. Joshua 15 and 1. Okay.
This then was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah, for by their families, even to the border of Edom. Okay, so now we talking about the border. So all the families of Israel shared a border with Judah. Go ahead. With Esau. Go ahead. The wilderness of Zin southward was the uttermost part of the south coast. And their south border was from the south shore of the salt sea from the day that looketh southward. And it went out to the south side to Maale Akrabim, and passed along to Zin, and ascended up on the south side of Kadesh Barnea, and passed along to Hezron, and went to Adar, and fetched the compass to Kirka.
Okay, that's good. Because we just wanted to see, let's skip down to, let's go to 5. Let's move down to 5.
And the east border was the Salt Sea, even unto the end of Jordan.
Okay, now we've all heard of Jordan. You know, Elijah crossed the Jordan. There's a few people baptized in the Jordan River. So we heard the name Jordan, and we see that Esau, his land Edom, the east border was here. Go ahead.
And their border in the north quarter was from the bay of the sea at the uttermost part of Jordan. And the border went up to Beth Hogla and passed along the north border of Beth Harbor, and the border went up to the stone of Bohan, the son of Reuben.
Okay, that's good. That's good, because that's just explaining everybody's Israel's borders. You say 21? Yep, there you go. Okay, let's skip down to 21. Joshua 15 and 20. We just establishing how close Edom was in comparison to the borders of Israel. That's all we came here for. Go ahead.
And the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah toward the coast of Edom southward were Kabzeel and Eder and Jagur.
Okay, so we see here too that they share borders. Edom was right there. All throughout all their borders, Edom was posted on their side, close. So it was nothing for them to take the identity. Now, I wanted to go to where Isaac, what is that, in Genesis, where Isaac gives the blessings out before he passes. Genesis. You said 27? Yeah. Genesis 27. And okay, we ain't gonna read the whole story, but I just want to get into like the mindset of what Esau was on when he didn't get his blessing that he thought he would get. Because we read already in Genesis that the older was go serve the younger, so that was already understood before they was even born, that the Lord had passed that prophecy on to Rebekah. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're going to scratch that one because this might take longer than expected on the route that I was trying to fill in on, but we got to go back to the question and see if we can get a sister a definite, right. So that was Revelation, what we say, Revelation 2 and 9, yep. So Revelation 2, we're going to go to Revelation 2. Let me go back to the sister's question, too. See if we on point with it. Was that on YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was on YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question was, I just wanted clarification on who Esau is. I watched the videos and still learning. BHI movement told me that I'm a Caucasian, so I'm a devil. So you showed who the Caucasians was. You showed who the Gentile was. And I would be in slavery. I love y'all and serve. So now you're just trying to show who Esau is.
And let's not forget, too, just to throw this in before we read this, that Paul was, he was an apostle unto the Gentiles. So he was sent out to bring the Gentiles into the fold of Israel and the belief of, you know, Jesus passing and the plan of salvation. So I say that to say that Gentiles have a right to salvation just as much as God's chosen people, because Paul was sent out to them in the old days. So to look at it as in the fashion that all Gentiles is devil, that's just incorrect. That's wrong. But let's get back to Esau. So Revelation 2, and pick it up at verse 9, brother.
I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not.
Okay, so somebody out here, in our day and age, it's not hard to figure out. I mean, we can turn on it. Matter of fact, what Brother Elijah mentioned in his lesson now about the war that's going on now, they've been warring for years. I don't see black people over there claiming that they Jews and warring with, you know, who you call the Palestinians. I see other nations. And here we seeing clearly that, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. So there's somebody right now in our day and age say they are Jews. That's clear. You turn on the TV and Google something. Who say they Jews now? More than likely you're going to see some people over there in, you know, Israel and Jerusalem. Now there's awakening that we getting because the Lord said in the last days, you know, your young man is going to prophesy, and we're going to come into the knowledge of our heritage, and that's what we're doing now. But that scale is very small, very small. Even though we have, you know, a school here where we at, and other brothers have, IOG has a big congregation in Chicago, and, you know, we got pockets and camps that's popping up, but as a whole, we still on the small side of waking up to our true nationality. We still think we from Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. You know, we thinking we from here in America, and we don't recognize that we do have a land because it's been stripped from us. So we don't know. But keep reading though.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But are the synagogue of Satan. So right now in this, what we read in Revelations 2 and verse 9, we see that the people that's claiming they are Jews, which are not. Matter of fact, let me just read it again. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty. This is speaking of Israel. But thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let's go on to 3. And, yep, and 9. 3 and 9. We still in Revelation. We're going to pick it up in 3 and 9. Go ahead.
Revelation 3 and 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Now this synagogue of Satan is referring to people that call themselves Jews and are not. I don't see it say Gentiles are of the synagogue of Satan. It said these people right here who say they are Jews and are not are of the synagogue of Satan. And should we read? Let me see. Yeah, that's good. I feel like we missed something, though, on explaining. I mean, we got he's a brother, right? Esau was the brother of Jacob. Okay, I think we're just going to leave it there. Unless you got something to add. You got something else to add?
Go to Genesis 36.
Genesis 36.
Just to confirm, Esau is Edom.
You said Genesis 36?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick it up at verse 1. Just showing it's really just gonna give, because it's got all, just like you got Israel. Sometimes Israel will go by Jacob,
right?
And then you talk about the children of Israel, or sometimes you talk about Israel, and then they throw Judah in there. That's where the term Jew come from. So Esau is pretty much the same thing.
Right.
So Genesis 36, and pick it up at verse 1.
Okay, Genesis 36, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
Okay, so it said these are the generations of Esau. We're trying to find out who Esau is.
Right.
These are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Edom is the land. Edom is the land that they were given. Go ahead.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elam, the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Bashemath, and Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebojath.
Skip down to verse 7.
For their riches were more than that they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle.
Go ahead.
Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
So it said, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. So Mount Seir to Edom is like, it's just like Mount Zion to the children of Israel.
Right.
So, and then if we were to go, we ain't got time, but if we could go back to Joshua 15, you'll see where they were showing the borders. They mentioned Mount Seir as well. So it all ties in with Edom and Esau. It's all the same thing. He said, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, so it's letting you know exactly who it is. Go ahead.
These are the names of Esau's son, Eliphaz, the son of Adah, the wife of Esau, Reuel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau.
That's it. That's all I had. But yeah, pretty much, I think we got it. Hopefully that helped.
I hope that answered your question, sis.
Got anything else?
On, go back to Facebook. Okay. I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing else on Facebook.
Nothing on Facebook. All right. We got another one on YouTube.
All right.
This is Brian Giles on YouTube. Peace, bro. Can you help me understand Deuteronomy 23:3? Can you help me understand Deuteronomy 23:3?
Deuteronomy 23:3. Okay, that's a clear-cut question. Let's read it. Deuteronomy 23 and pick it up at verse 3.
An Ammonite or Moabite should not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation should they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever.
Okay, let's go back up. Let's go back up to verse 1 and read back down. See what we come up with. Go ahead. 23 and verse 1. Deuteronomy.
He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off should not enter into the congregation of the Lord. A bastard should not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to this 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God hath loved thee.
Okay. No, that's good. Ooh. So explain 23:3. Help them understand. That's a good question. I want to go back to where they was cutting through the land, and they didn't allow them. Let me write this down. Yeah, that's gonna be a rough one. reading that?
Yeah, if you read at 8, it says the children that are begotten, but then after that it switches to something else.
Okay. Where do we stop at?
We stopped at 7.
We had stopped at 7, 23 and 7. Okay. We're going to pick it up. We're going to pick it up at verse 7. The question is to help them understand verse 3. And I'll reread verse 3, and then Willie going to start at verse 7. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. And it says why? Because they didn't meet him with bread and whatnot. So let's pick it up at 7. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not have born Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not have born Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their 3rd generation.
Okay, so that's a good verse too, because that's talking about Edom's children, right, and Egyptians' children, that they're 3rd generation. But you know, we got a lot of militant brothers that say that, you know, Edom is just totally doomed. I never caught that. Man, I don't. Let's go to Numbers. I want to go to Numbers. I want to try to catch. The reason I want to go to Numbers is because what we read, it said that in their day they didn't give them bread. The Moabite and the Ammonite. And I think this is the story of it. Numbers 20. Let's see if we can get some clarification on this one. Yeah, 20. But it says something about Moab in here. 20 and, let me see. Is it Numbers 13? Okay, that's Edom not giving them pass. I wanted to go where Moabites. Yeah, I know, and that's what they're trying to figure out, exactly what it's meaning. I wanted to get to that story though. Brought us forth out of Kadesh, the city of the motherfucker, and pray for thee. Okay, that's just speaking of Edom. I thought. What was in there? Is it Deuteronomy? Let's go to Deuteronomy 34. It's not there in Numbers. Numbers is speaking of Numbers 20, and if you pick it up at 14, it shows that Edom didn't allow Israel to pass through their land, so they had to go around them. And I thought, I had it confused. I thought that was the story of Moab, them not crossing their land. But let's go to Deuteronomy 34 and see if this is it. Deuteronomy 34. No, that ain't it either. No, that ain't it either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit that one. Explain Deuteronomy 23 and 3. Hey, Nate. Deuteronomy 23 and 3 is talking about that the Ammonites and the Moabites won't enter into the congregation of the Lord. And they looking for, no. Yeah. Did we? Did we? I think we did. Do it again. Okay. Let's try rereading again, because the question is basically 23 and 3. We're going to pick it up at 23 and 1 and read down into it, see if we can get some context. 23 and verse 1.
He that is wounded in the stones or hath his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Oh, yeah, we read that. Yes, that makes them unclean, right.
A bastard should not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when ye came forth out of the land, and because they hired against thee Balaam the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord thy God would not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee. Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever. Thou shalt not have born Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not have born Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land.
Right. Okay. Psalms 83. Right, towards the Edomite or the Egyptian. Right. Psalms 83.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Go ahead. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So
Yeah, no, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so We're going to read Deuteronomy 23 again. Say it again. Right, yeah, they descendants a lot, right.
So, right. Hey, so when it's talking about the congregation, is it talking about just the population, like the population of Israel when they was in the wilderness? So they not supposed to be around Israel. Yeah, so all these, everybody that fall under that.
Right.
Everybody that fall under that. Don't let, it's kind of like somebody, wow, like. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go back and read it. Explain it. Thank you, brother.
You know such and such a crackhead. You know one of them, you know what I'm saying? You know how they, like he said, you know how they are.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna get back to the brother's question, and then we're gonna reread it because we just gotta help out with the understanding. So Brian Gill, can you help me understand Deuteronomy 23 and 3? That's his question. Okay. We're gonna pick it back up at verse 1, 23 and 1, and we're gonna read down. Go ahead, bro.
He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off should not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Okay, so we know that this is a form of being unclean. The Lord has a specific, like, you know, Elijah had in his lesson, there's certain things that make you clean and unclean. So this particular instance is a man with wounded stones or have his privy member cut off, he is unclean. And he can't enter into the congregation of the Lord. That's what we're reading here. 2.
A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Okay, so a bastard can't enter into the congregation of the Lord. 3, now this is the brother's question. Help him understand this one. Go ahead.
An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever.
Okay, so the Ammonite or the Moabite, now it's going to give us an explanation of why they are not to enter into the congregation of the Lord. And why is that?
Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when you came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Okay,
so the Moabites, when we came out of Egypt and was cutting through to get to the land, we ran into them and they sent, you know, someone to curse us. They wanted somebody to curse us and, you know, to harm us. So that was the mentality that they had towards Israel, and the Lord don't forget that. Okay, he loves his people. As much drama and as much destruction that he put us through, in the end, he's going to raise us up. Those that us survive this test, he's going to raise us up, and we are going to be ruling this world. And that's just what it is. So, where we at, 5?
5.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the Lord thy God will not hearken unto Balaam, but the Lord thy God turned the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loved thee.
Okay, so instead of the curse, we got a blessing out of it because the Lord loved his people. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not seek their peace nor their prosperity all thy days forever.
Okay, all the days forever. Okay, so let's move to Psalm 83. Let's go over there. Because even though we generations upon generations upon generations remove the same spirit that was in the heart of them Moabites back then, in the heart of them Ammonites back then, is still relevant today. Like even when we read when it says that Ishmael will be a wild man, right? Well, that was Ishmael. I mean, that was a particular man back in the day of we reading that Ishmael was going to be a wild man. So why did it say that Ishmael, he was going to be a wild man and have all these people against him? Because his descendants carry that same spirit on. A lot of his same descendants carry that spirit on. That's why the Lord speaks like that, because he knows the nations, you know. And that's not to say all of them, but for the most part, that's the spirit that's in the Ishmaelites from, you know, this generation and onward. But Psalms 83, right? That's what, yeah, Psalms 83. Give me a second, let me get there. Psalms 83. And where's we at? Verse 6. Yeah, let's pick it over at verse 1. Psalms 83 and verse 1. Go ahead.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against my people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
See, because we got to understand how the Lord look at this thing. We are the ones here on earth that's representing God. So the nations that's coming against us, they coming against God because we are the people of God, you know. So that's why he has this anger towards them, because they ain't showing his people any kind of love no matter where they at. Starting coming out of Egypt. 4. Oh, no, 5. I'm sorry, 5.
They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Now, if we look at it even in our day, right? Even if we say, you know, we don't know who Israel is or who they might be or whatnot, why is it that, you know, you have this black nation, wherever they at across the world, they just treat it bad? Now, we equate it to that because we do our research. We read that obviously it must be Israel, because Israel is scattered amongst all nations of the world, and they are cursed because we didn't follow what thus saith the Lord. We didn't do God's will, and he sent us out. So that's just pieces of the puzzle that we are starting to put back together in our day and age, learning that we Israel, why we going through all these conditions that we going through, and it's coming together. We being remembered of our heritage. We are getting back to our nationality and what we supposed to be doing. And these are the steps to get to there. But keep reading. Go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Ebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Okay, so these are all confederate against thee. We read in 5 that they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Everybody's against us. Everywhere we go, they against us. For no reason. We ain't even got no power. You know, we the poorest people on the earth, don't have nothing. Why is all this hatred and all this anger aimed at us? Why? I mean, I can see if, you know, how people hate on rich people. Oh, he got all that money. Or they hate on a pretty person or a handsome man. Or he think he too, you know, he too cute. Or a woman, you know, she thinks she too beautiful with all her long hair. We can understand that type of hatred. But what kind of hatred can you have towards a people that's nothing of no threat? And the answer is that because they under a divine curse from their God. That's why. Go ahead.
Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Okay, so basically David's saying that, look, all these people that got confederacy against them, get them back, Lord. And that's what he planned on doing. You know, that's his mission, is to put his people back on top. But in order for us to get there, we have to get back to righteousness. And we have to do the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord to get there. So I hope that answered your question on understanding Deuteronomy 23.
Because it said, you know, the verse right below it, why they are getting back. Or why they are not allowed into the congregation of the Lord for what they did to Israel when they came out of Egypt. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Brother Brian. We're going to move on to any in-house? Any more in-house? Okay. You know what? They keep on Facebook. YouTube. Let me look at Facebook, because I thought it was Facebook, but it was actually YouTube, what I was looking at. No, there's no more. There's no questions.
All right, you got another one on YouTube. It says, this is Israel 16. Happy Sabbath. Is it a sin to celebrate or acknowledge your birthday? Is it a sin to celebrate or acknowledge your birthday?
Okay. What
is sin?
Okay, yeah, so let's go to the definition of sin. That's
1 John 3.
John, okay, I thought it was John 3. 1 John. Let's go to 1 John. Because, you know, a lot of times we make up our own definitions of what sin is, you know. But the Bible gives us a clear definition of what's it in. So 1 John, 1 John, for sin is a transgression of the law. 3 and 4. 1 John 3. And let's pick it up at verse 4. 1 John 3 and 4. Go ahead.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law.
Okay, so right there gives us the clear-cut definition of what sin is. Now, you might say, hey, Brother D, what laws are you talking about? Well, if we go all the way back to Exodus, and it's more than just the Ten Commandments, but we're going to read what the law is. What is it? Exodus. It's 20. Yeah. 20. Right, yeah. Now this is just, now everybody knows these laws. Well, everybody should know these laws here. And there's more to this, but we just gonna get an understanding real quick about sin, because your birthday, you know, we ain't gonna see in there celebrating your birthday is a sin. This is something we ain't gonna see in the laws that we just read in 1 John 3, that sin is a transgression of the law. That's what sin is. That's the definition of sin. So here we are, Exodus 20. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead.
And the Lord, and God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Okay, so this is idol worship and having other gods before me. That's idol worship. If you're doing that, you are sinning. Because we read here, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath.
So if you are worshiping statues, you worshiping, you know, a picture of a water wave, a picture of a sun or something, you call yourself praying to that, you are sinning. Go ahead.
Or that is in the water under the earth.
Okay, even statues, you know. We know of a particular religion right now that many of their believers pray to statues. And here it's clear right here that it said don't pray to no kind of graven images. So if you are doing that, you are sinning, according to what we read. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
Because the way we show we love God, we actually doing something, brothers and sisters. So that's something that we really need to analyze as well. Because we call ourselves, oh, we love God, we love God. Well, are we keeping the Sabbath? Are we not idol worshiping? You know, are we loving our brother as our own? If we ain't doing these things, how are we showing we love God? Just by saying it? I don't think so. We got to show, we got to have some deeds behind showing our love. When you tell your wife you love her every day, you just, you know, you yell at her and cuss her out every day. That's not showing her you love her. And I don't think she going to feel that you love her. So the way we show what, we go get some candy. I ain't did that in a while, so don't hold me to that. But we going to show our love for someone if we love them. You dig what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. You got to show your love. So the Lord is saying that if you doing my commandments, then, yeah, I know you love me. Just by you opening your mouth and saying you love me, you just, you know, you lip boxing. You showing lip service. Go ahead.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
See, and that's another big one. The Sabbath day, the seventh day of the week, we're supposed to have a holy convocation. Keep setting it apart from all the rest of the days of the week. The seventh day. Go ahead.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So nothing. Your cattle, that means your animals, they ain't working. If you got, you know, manservants and maidservants, ain't nobody working on the seventh day, because that's the day that the Lord set up as a Sabbath day of rest. And if we look at our calendars, we see clearly that the seventh day in our day and age, and what we call it, is a Saturday. We see that. You know, we know when to go to work, right? Monday through Friday. We know when to have birthdays. You know, the question that's in reference is, you know, is it a sin to have a birthday? We know when a birthday is to the calendar we govern our lives to. So we know what the seventh day is. It's not a mystery. Go ahead.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
Okay, that's good. So if you are doing one of these, then you are sinning. Now, you know, they have, you know, debates about birthdays and all that. I don't get into all that, and I don't see it as a sin on celebrating your birthday, as long as you ain't doing none of this. I mean, that's basically all I can say. I don't want to go into where he had it on it was a birthday when John got his head chopped off.
But that ain't even in the law saying, if you go see where they kept record of their ages. Genesis chapter 5, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Because
Like Jesus, how you
right. How did right. So if we didn't keep no kind of track of you know, our age, then how we even gonna, you know, like keep up with prophecy or keep up with anything? When the Lord told us, you know, even Pentecost, for instance, Pentecost is, you know, meaning 50, so we had to count days in that. Genesis, what was it again?
Genesis
5.
5. Chapter 3, we just showed everybody's ages when they died. It was keeping track of it. Even like when you see when kings was born. I mean, when kings started to reign, it showed you how old they was and how long they reigned.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a genealogy of you know, some of the leaders of or the people. Yes, the lineage. Yeah, Seth's lineage. So Genesis chapter 5, and let's just pick it up at verse 1.
This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth.
So how do we know that Adam was 130 years old? Because they kept record of when he came to be. Now Adam's particular instance was being a man. When he was created out of the dust of the ground, he was created a man. But from that point on, all the men and all the women that inherited the earth came from another woman, such as Eve, right? So from there on, the creation of humanity was birthed in a woman's stomach and had, like we see today, like children are born today. Okay? Go ahead, keep reading.
In the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters.
Okay, he was 800 years and had sons and daughters. So there's had to be some way to keep count of that in these years that we reading, brothers and sisters. Go ahead.
And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Mm-hmm. And Seth lived 105 years and begat Enos.
So at 105 years old, this is when Seth had Enos. He was 105 when he had him. So he had 105 birthdays before he had Enos. Go ahead.
And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years and begat sons and daughters.
Okay, so after Enos, he lived another, what did it say? 807 years and begat sons and daughters.
And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died.
So he lived to be 912. And how do we get to that, brothers and sisters? We get to that through birthdays and remembering, or somebody at least remembering when we was born and recording it. So I don't see no sin in having birth. Now you might have some brothers who talk about the candle and other things, other traditions that was thrown into, you know, having birthdays. Huh? Yeah, and you know, I don't know about all that, but just to celebrate your birthday. Now, another thing is too, and now if you celebrating your birthday doing wrong, which I did before I got into the truth, I celebrate my birthday and, you know, I ain't gonna say it like no club or nothing, like no strip club. But if you doing wrong, that's a whole different thing, because now you just add to your birthday. But if you just recognize your birthday, happy to be alive, I don't see no issue in that. I don't see no sin in that at all. Huh? Let's go to Genesis 21. When he was weaned, Isaac. Okay, we had Genesis 21 for the onliners. We had Genesis 21, and we're going to pick it up at verse 7. 21 and verse 7. Go ahead, bro.
And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age.
Uh-huh.
And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned.
So there was a great feast that Isaac made for his son coming off the breast, you know. And that was at a particular time, on a birth time. So celebrating your birthday, I don't see it. It's not a sin. Because like we read in 1 John 3, it says sin is the transgression of the law. Now, if you're doing any of them transgressions in your birthday, then you are sinning. But just honoring your birthday is not a sin. I hope that answers your question.
All right, got another one. This is YouTube. This is Donna Paquin. Does God hear you if you pray for people's Hold on. Does God hear if you pray for people that don't live by the commandments? Will God hear you if you pray for people that don't live by the commandments?
Abomination, your prayer.
You the one praying. Yeah, Proverbs 28:9.
Yeah, let's go to Proverbs 28. Okay, but it's saying if you pray for somebody that's not doing what thus saith the Lord. Proverbs 28. Proverbs 28, and we had 9. Yeah. Okay. Let's read here to see if we can spark up the spirit a little bit. Proverbs 28 and read verse 9, bro. Go ahead.
He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer should be abomination.
Okay. Now this is someone that, we see this a lot too. I ain't gonna even lie. Like when we hear about, entertainers or actors or politicians say a prayer for this, say a prayer for that, I don't see them honoring the Sabbath. I don't see them, keeping the holy days of the Lord. But yet they'll say, when we got Columbine or something, they say, go ahead and just say a prayer for the nation, But we reading here that 28:9, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer should be an abomination. That means the Lord even hate your voice saying a prayer to him. It's meaning nothing to him because you ain't doing what he say do. So it's that important to really be in tune with the Lord and to your best ability do what thus saith the Lord. Because when you run into a situation, what does it say? He was going to laugh at you. When you run into a situation and you really need some help and you doing wrong, the Lord ain't finna hear you. The Lord is not finna hear you. Especially if you had opportunities to do right when your mama said do right or somebody told you do right and you doing wrong. And then that wrong that you've done has got you in a jam now that you looking for solace and you can't find it. Let's go to Colossians. Now that's for someone who's doing wrong and want to pray. But the question is, can basically like us that's doing the word of God pray for somebody that's not doing the word of God? Exactly. Let me get there because Colossians 1. And how's the Lord going to send them help but through the prayers of the righteous? Colossians 1. Okay, yep. Colossians 1 and verse 9. Go ahead and read there.
For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding.
Now this is Paul speaking of the Colossians, which were the Gentiles. And it even said in the book that the Gentiles, they didn't know God. They didn't even have God. So they didn't have no kind of understanding of what was required of them. So, of course, everything that they were doing, was against God until disciples were sent to them, until the Lord sent his people to them to teach them. But he just didn't wipe away the Gentiles and just killed them all the way off and didn't give them an opportunity to learn about God. So in this case, yeah, you can pray for somebody that don't, ain't doing the Lord's will. But ultimately, we gotta seek out our own salvation with fear and trembling. Should we keep reading?
Verse 10
let's keep reading 10.
That ye might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God.
See, increasing, that means it's stages of learning about what the Lord requires of us. And we got to start somewhere, you know. And a good place to start is reading your Bible, even if you don't, you don't practice none of the practices of the Sabbath day. But then when you come across the seventh day, use a little common sense. Look at your calendar and see when the seventh day is. And then start keeping that, you know. When you come across the dietary law in Leviticus, you see that there's a such thing as clean and unclean foods. Then you might stop yourself from eating shrimp and catfish and pork because it's an abomination unto the Lord. It's in his laws and commandments. And we read in 1 John 3 that sin is a transgression of the law. So even eating wrong can be a transgression of the law. So I wanted to go to, let me see, did we finish reading that? I wanted to go to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling, which Philippians, let's go to Philippians. Because ultimately, brothers and sisters, even all the praying in the world can't help if the person you praying for does not want to do right and refuses to do right. Eventually, they have to come to a point in their life to where they say enough is enough and I'm going to start doing Lord's commandments. And at that point, then that's how you know that the prayers that people like us that follow the law, statutes, and commandments and we've been praying for, you know, friends, family, even enemies, even foes of ours. You know, if they get to that point, then the Lord must have heard some prayers because he's opening their eyes to change their life. And that's the whole goal of it, brothers, because we don't want to see nobody, you know, in the lake of fire. From what we read, we see that that's an eternal damnation. So where was we at? Philippians. I'm sorry, I just be running my mouth. Philippians 2. Yes. Philippians 2. And let's pick it up at verse 12. Philippians 2, verse 12. Go ahead, bro.
Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
See, brothers and sisters, this is the point we have to all come to in our lives, is to work out our own salvation. We don't have the luxury to blame, you know, our friend that continues to fornicate, steal, kill, or do whatever they want to do and then blame them because we doing it or we choose to do it. We don't have that luxury, brothers and sisters, because we read scriptures like this that tell us we have to seek, we have to work out. I'm going to reread it, 2 and 12, Philippians 2 and 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. These are the ones that even got the little knowledge of God, like we read earlier. It's stages that you go through in learning what the Lord has you do. And as you get stronger and stronger, then you can teach other people and they walk. Because as we get stronger, the Lord introduces people in our lives to where we are their example to start somewhere or even get past the hump in their life because they've seen the stages that we went through as well, getting strong in the Lord. But ultimately, brothers and sisters, we have to answer for ourselves. But yes, you can pray for somebody that's not doing right. Matthew 5. Let's go to Matthew 5. And 44. Matthew 5 and 44.
But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
Thank you, brother. That's one of the ones I was trying to get to too. It's clearly saying pray for your enemies. Now, enemies is somebody that, you know, ain't got no kind of love for you, want to see you, don't really care what you got going on in your life, don't care if you live or died, broke or rich, But here we read, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. So, see, this is hard for us to do. This is real hard for us to do because we put a lot of emotional and personal stake in the people that do us wrong. Especially out a lot of times how we was raised. Me particular, I wasn't raised to just, love somebody that hate me. Why? That don't even sound right. But now that I've been in the truth, I see that that's what I'm supposed to do. And in turn, we heaping coals of hot fire on their head if they continue doing me wrong or doing anybody else wrong that love them. Because they just sealing their fate. But we just got to be servants of God and do what the Lord tell us to do, and we going to be all right. Because we know that God is the center of our salvation, the center of our strength. We can't look to man for strength. We can't look to nobody else for strength in this walk. So 44 again, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. It seemed like a lot of wrong getting done to an individual. But keep reading. What does 45 say?
That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven.
See, because if we look back at the story of Jesus, what they do to Jesus? Spit on him. Ultimately killed him. Called him out his name, put him a crown of thorns. That crown of thorns wasn't no sign of royalty. That was to hurt that man and to make a mockery of what he stood for. But yet he loved them enough to die for him. And they didn't even know it. But keep going, keep reading.
For he maketh his sun arise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust.
See, brothers and sisters, because we all got to face the same conclusion in the end. And that conclusion is we gonna die. The righteous is gonna die, the evil is gonna die. The only thing that's gonna set them apart after death is whether you're gonna be in the kingdom or whether you're gonna be in the lake of fire. That's gonna be set apart. And in order to get into the kingdom, you got to do what it just said. Love your enemies. Love the people that, persecute you and hate you because you did that before your death. So when you arise, the Lord said, okay, you listened while you was living. You did this, you did that. That's what judgment is for, brothers and sisters. To judge everything that we did according to the Bible in our life now. That's what we're going to be judged on. So we got to get it. We got to follow these type of commandments and statutes here. We can't wait till we die and have an afterlife. It's too late for that. Because an appointed, what does it say? It's appointed unto man once to die and then the judgment. So we only got one living life here in this flesh, and then after that we got to get judged unless we get into the first resurrection. And to do that, to get into the first resurrection, you got to be following what we read, and amongst other things too. But keep reading. Where we was at? 47. Thank you. Go ahead.
If you salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so?
Yeah, people. I grew up with people that in the street that murdered people. The killers next to the killers, they give Brother Dap all the time. Tell them they love each other. All that. The same thing we do. So we ain't doing nothing different by loving someone that just believes how we believe. Because people that don't believe how we believe, they love their own. But what's setting us apart is we can have the faith to love someone that persecutes us. Actually pray that the Lord has mercy on that individual. See, that's what sets us apart, brothers and sisters, because we still have a compassionate heart and hope that the Lord can have mercy on these other individuals. If not, hey, we did our part. We did what the Lord say do, and therefore we are a just servant. Keep reading.
Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
See, that's the goal, brothers and sisters. We got to strive for perfection, and it's a lifelong thing. It's a lifelong thing, and we behind the 8 ball on it because, I wasn't raised in the truth. I didn't get into the truth until my late 20s, early 30s. You know, well, no, 20s, mid-20s. So I had a whole, 20-something years that I had to do some flushing out, erasing a lot of the teachings and things that was taught to me when I was in the street and what got me to the 25, 24 years of age I was. I had to get that out of my system. And that's the process that the Lord requires of us, to learn what he wants us to do and apply it. What else do we have? I think that's, let me see. Yeah, I think that's good. You got anything there? That's good. I hope that answered your question, bro. That was brother, right? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That was Donna, Sister Donna. I'm sorry. Sister Donna McQueen. I hope that answered your question, sis. And on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and just wrap it up for tonight. If y'all, sorry, apologies if we missed your questions. And you can come back, Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. We still at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, y'all can come and with your questions again. And of course, next Sabbath, we'll be here again to answer questions. And on that note, we'll go ahead and close out.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
In Jesus' holy name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Praise God.